you have this dream, and your dream is to like be the captain of this boat, right?
Yeah.
So the way that you get there is you hang on to the outside of the boat till everybody else on that ship dies from the storm, and pray to God that you live long enough to climb over the bodies and throw them off the side and go, I'm the
Oh
captain
my
now.
God.
And most of us, it's very hard to just, you don't even start off on the
Yes.
ship. You're a
Yes.
barnacle. And
It is.
actually, you're
Yes.
not even a barnacle. You're a human holding on. At least barnacles know how to hold on.
The ship's made of your body, like
The,
basically.
the ship is made of the dead people that came before you, whose
Oh
dreams
my
died.
God.
The ship is made
Right.
of dead dreams. Hello, cuties. Welcome to the Pilots 101 podcast with me, your co host, Lisa Timmons, and my co host, Chris Quintos.
Hello. Hello.
How are you? I haven't seen you in a little bit.
I know we took a little hiatus for Thanksgiving break. Um, I'm good. I just said I set up a brand new mic because on one of my Zoom calls last week, my mic just stopped. And it was like for a writing class, and I was like, "Well, I think
No.
she," and then I was like, "Wait, why is everyone talking over me?" And I was like, "Wait, can you guys hear me? Can you?" And no one, like, everyone just kept talking. I was like, "Oh crap."
Well, this beautiful piece of audio equipment, I
I
feel bad
know.
for anyone who doesn't have access to the visual, but you can hear it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I just got it on I got one of those like pull down stands and like,
Oh,
like I feel like I'm fully professional today. So
you're very
I'm
professional today. I'm trying to keep
excited
up.
about it. You do have a wall behind you though, which is kind of an exciting.
Oh,
My
thank you
hoop earring
for
just fell out.
noticing. Guys, we are all over the place. And the thing is, the reason your hoop earring fell out is because it's a great size. It's like, and we've got these headphones on that are just holding back your hoops. Your hair is
It's
so
like
long, Mama.
it's like a 2 inch. Thank you, thank you. It's yeah, I know. I'm like, oh, ooh, oh yeah,
It's
okay.
slightly bigger than a business hoop to me, but it's thin. That's the thing. I'm like, you can go as big with
Yeah,
the hoop as you want. You just
if
have to
it's
make it thinner.
you got to make it a thin hoop. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, we took Thanksgiving break. My mic, and yeah, here we are. It's so
Here we
nice to
are.
see you.
Mm.
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was great because we just had curry. We didn't do any of
Right.
the Thanksgiving stuff. My fiance's family is British, and
Right.
I am aware of this country's history, so none of us felt particularly compelled to do anything remotely traditional for Thanksgiving.
That sounds nice.
It was
Yeah, that
very
sounds
it was
nice.
very fun, very relaxing. Um,
I
oh, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Oh,
What?
I am finding it difficult to figure out like cuz we have kids and it's just kind of like how do you bring it up? I mean, they get it, but it's also like it's everywhere. The
Oh, yeah, everywhere. It's everywhere,
Thanksgiving is everywhere.
and you can't
And my
control how it's being portrayed out in
Yeah,
the world.
and I don't know what your feeds look like, but it was like half of my feed was like thankful for blah blah blah, and the other half was like burn this motherfucker down.
The other half was the Wednesday Addams meme.
Yeah, it was just like, what are we celebrating? It's all genocide, and I had just read that book. I just read that the indigenous people's history of the United States, and so I was in a weird place of
I'm
like,
sure
yeah,
it
so
it
it was
is
tricky.
weird. It's well, you know what? Oh, look at your cup. You're so good. Guys, her Tumblr says public radio nerd.
I know, because it's true, and that's why this, like, mic mount is like a dream come true here because
We may
I
have to transition into a murder podcast because she looks so dang professional.
ooh, yeah,
Can I tell you, we had a Zoom for work, and
yeah.
one of the my executive producers, I shan't name drop because I like
Yeah.
to work,
Ha
but
ha ha.
he couldn't get his audio working, so he had to restart his computer.
Right.
Well, this is somebody who does on occasion have to do like at home interviews and like you happen to have a professional mic. He came back with one of those. He comes back on the Zoom after restarting his computer with a mic set up like that. And we could not stop laughing because the audio was so clear. And it just, we kept
Yeah.
saying, hey, can you tell the pitch? Can you give us the pitch? Like, so then they walk into the room. It kept being very like NPR, like
Right.
sensual.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, because it captures all the yeah, I literally
Velvety
haven't set my
tones.
it's all good. Mine will be by next week. I'll be boop, 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 boop.
Ugh, you'll be great. You're
But
fabulous.
we did Barry this
Oh,
past week.
I want to
And
know if it
I don't
hit you like it hit me.
well, this is why I stopped watching it. I remember immediately with the slow motion white girl scene. Like it's not like I'm against it, but I was just like, man, I can't watch this girl. I can't watch this girl. And yeah, and I just hate I mean, I really think it's a great show and obviously it was like one of the best on television right now. But you know, yeah,
I
I don't know.
can't I can't tell if she's I couldn't tell throughout the whole series if they were purposely making her so
Yeah,
terrible. Like I
right.
couldn't tell exactly like is she supposed to represent
Like
the
basic.
prototypical, yeah, the super
Yeah.
basic, which I'm like, I don't know if that's fair or that we want to
Right.
see that anymore. But here's what hit me. That
Yeah.
aside, a very visceral place.
Okay.
Guys, Chris and I have a very personal relationship with the bar Residuals.
Oh,
I I have to say, I don't know how
yeah.
intellectually I was able to critique the show when I was watching because what I was seeing was I in this post-pandemic world, those
Yeah.
of us who would run around, go to shows, like the moment that one of the moments that really cracked me up was when they were after class, they were all or actually, you know what? I watched the first and the second episode. So I sorry, I might be mixing
Nice.
them up.
That's
But
okay.
the camaraderie, the behind the scenes, the heightened emotions of feeling vulnerable in an acting class with people you haven't known that long and
Right.
having these little breakthroughs. I That's kind of where I went because I was thinking about
Nice.
you and I was thinking about CBS Diversity Showcase
Oh,
and also like just locations and it's
yeah.
and I do love Bill Hader too. Like I feel like this
Oh
was
my
the
God,
first
he's so
time
great.
he's so good. This is the first time you got to see him playing a bad guy like that.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
I think he's really good. But yeah, I can't for the life of me figure
Figure that girl
out.
out.
Yeah, I can't. The thing is, because I also don't know that it's fair to create like a basic white lady actress character that we can just shit on. Like, I don't know.
I
I'm like very
I don't know what
torn.
their yeah, I don't know what their purpose is with her.
I
But
also, yeah, go
I,
ahead.
but I remember that like I was like, why wasn't I like super into the show? And I just remember because there's certain shows that like I watch at certain times when I
Yes.
that just hit me wrong. Like even though they're so good, like and I did with Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. I that one in particular, I was like, I remember shutting it down. And this is not. I don't know. I know I'm living in Barbie's world. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like I'm. And I just feel like I just was like, I cannot watch another show full of white people, like about a white girl. Like, and she's more diverse and Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. She's more diverse and it's a really good script and it's a really great show. And it's so, I mean, I am a Gilmore girl, so I wanted
Yes,
to
ma'am.
be there. But like I slammed my laptop shut and I was just like, I can't do it. I can't do it
Well,
today.
the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel thing, I have to say, I always have felt it is weird how many
Yeah.
people are not Jewish playing
Yes.
Jewish characters. I
I
just
think
I think it
Sarah
hits me
Silverman
weird.
was just saying something about that. She's like, they're emphatically Jewish. Like this show is like about an
They're really leaning.
emphatically Jewish person.
I mean, at a
And
certain point, you're doing a caricature of something that's not personal to you. I don't know. It's like
right.
this is guys, this is the landscape in which your girls find themselves. We want to enjoy
Yeah.
things, but sometimes it's really hard to not
Yeah.
get
And
distracted by, really problematic stuff in the content we love. It's frustrating.
it's really frustrating. And so with Barry, I remember, because it's not really about that until she comes in, which is like what halfway through the show or whatever, like is when I
Yes.
got distracted about her.
Yes.
Um, because he's so great in this and it's such an interesting character and it's a fun, like, he's like a
A
mercenary or
hitman.
whatever.
Yeah, yeah, a
Yeah.
vigilante or a hitman.
And but then like so then my brain goes, this is where like I think being a writer kind of becomes problematic when you're watching TV because like I don't know about you, but sometimes I just can't like turn it off, like
Yes.
I'm just like, "Oh, that's an interesting like choice," or like, "Why did they do that?" or "They should have done this," or like, "Oh, I can see what's happening here." Um yeah, and then so then I was like, "Okay, all right, let's just role play where like she's not, let's say she's they cast I don't know, like an Asian girl or whatever, right? And then the script becomes about how it's a white guy with an Asian girl. And like that's not that's why their hands are sort of tied, is because like then it becomes about an interracial relationship instead of about like this like
Well,
assassin.
it doesn't have to
Right, it doesn't have to.
because
It doesn't have
because
to.
it doesn't have to because I have seen all of Barry. So I'm current.
Yeah.
So I know the bigger arcs of the characters. Okay.
Right.
Let's say it were an Asian woman. So one of the guys, spoiler alert, because like whatever, you shouldn't be surprised. We're going to talk. We will
It's a
sometimes tell you the
show
finale of the
about
shows we're talking about,
yeah, it's
and
a podcast about TV, so
TV, and
anyway.
us just trying to figure it out.
It's
So
about race and TV, right?
it's
Let's
about
be
race and
real. Okay.
TV, and because you know what, if you act like it's not in TV, it is. The lack
Anyway,
of it
so
does mean that it should be discussed.
right.
But like, okay, let's say she were an Asian actress. Then
Right.
here's what part of the arc that you see with her and him that takes place over the 2 seasons is he gets these crazy opportunities thrown at him without
Mhm.
trying. And she gets frustrated.
Aha.
So actually, her being an Asian woman would exacarbate
Yeah.
the inequities
Yeah.
between the two of them, and it would
Right,
just
right, right.
because I would love to see an Asian woman telling him how hard it is,
Right.
not
Yeah.
realizing or fully processing that it's not going to be hard for him
Right.
for a
Right, right, right.
number of reasons. So like to see it, I actually think that would work really well because because the way that, especially the way that in the pilot, she's like, this is how it works. It's like this,
Yeah.
it's like this, it's like this.
Yeah,
She could be
she's
like this.
explaining
She
that
could be
it
like,
is.
this is how it works. You're really going to struggle for cattle calls. They're gonna say all ethnicities. You're gonna go in and blah, blah, and then she could just see that like actually none of that's true for him. It's only true
Right.
for her. So I think
Right.
you could actually do that where it doesn't become about.
About the interracial thing.
Yeah, I
So,
think so. I think you could
yeah,
do that.
but I think yes, I do agree with that. But I think like what ends up happening because we're not used to it is that it becomes a topic. Like,
I
oh,
see.
he's with an Indian woman or like whatever. Like and
Yeah.
so but it's never gonna change unless like I have said this, I think, on here before, but I definitely say it all the time that I'm like fighting for my right to be basic, you know, like as an
Yes.
activist, right? Like, and so it's just like, but that's what I mean, right? Where it's like these people
Yeah.
should be interchangeable. Like his race shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Um, and then to some extent, sometimes it doesn't because it's kind of more about gender too, right? But it's all connected.
Yeah.
Anyway, Anyway, yeah, I will pick this back up, I think, because now I've like released my drama into
I
into
think
the
it's
ether.
fair. Also, here's another thing that we both have to remember.
Yeah.
You're an actress.
Ugh.
This could you have lived auditions. I have not so
Ugh.
much. It's like I can see that. I mean, this is way more triggering than like if I was like, okay, fine, we'll watch Studio 60 on the
Yeah,
Sunset
yeah,
Strip.
yeah. Yeah, right. It's yeah, that's true.
This is your
And I
world.
part that's part of why I became a writer is because it's so powerless to be an actor. And I think
Oh my
anybody, an
gosh.
actor of any color would say that. Where you're just kind of like, I don't want to be like, okay, so the roles that come to me are like prostitute, nail technician, like, you know what I mean? Like, just these really shitty roles. But like, you know, I'm sure the same thing can be said for like white guy number 3 and cashier, you know, like it's so any
Girl, if
actor,
you think for a second they call them white guy number 3.
they don't. It's Chuck. It's Chuck. Thank you very much.
It's lawyer number
Uh,
1, doctor number 2,
Oh, right, they definitely don't call Oh,
call,
yeah, and
bro
this
number
is
4.
another thing that, bothers me is, like, about so we get, they're casting calls, like, it's just, like it's a breakdown, so it just says, like, the character and the age and the ethnicity, like mine would be, podcast host, late 30s, mom, overachiever energy, like like that kind of thing. But
Stylish.
yeah, but now it says in now. So it used to always just say like 30s podcast host funny. Then it said 30s Asian podcast host funny, and now because it's like now because we're in a place where maybe
We're
we're
kind
gonna
of
be
trying.
yeah, we're trying. It says 30s, all ethnicities funny. But really what they mean by all ethnicities is white because at the end of some
Yeah.
of these they'll be like 30s, all ethnicities funny, blonde. Like it'll say or like brunette. Like and so they default is all ethnicities, but they don't mean that. They
No,
mean
well, all ethnicities means we'll look at everyone else.
sure.
But if
Yeah.
we feel to be safe that we need to cast a white person, then
Yeah.
we will allow ourselves to do that.
So anyway, I just it's super frustrating when I figured out that like all ethnicities just meant like white again
Yeah.
because we're just trying to cover our butts, you know.
These butts.
But anyway, okay, Alec Berg wrote this, not to be confused with Alex Berg, who is UCB.
UCB,
um,
guys. Is it
so
Convoy?
it's deep. Yeah, it's Convoy. Yeah, so Alec Berg also did Silicon Valley. I didn't realize he wrote for Curb Your Enthusiasm, or he was the executive producer.
I,
What?
d- I didn't know.
Wow. And he was on Seinfeld as
Wow.
executive producer. Yeah,
That's a
that's interesting.
lot of
That's a lot of
shows.
credits. Yeah, so I mean, so like, oh, Conan O'Brien, sure, he wrote for Conan O'Brien. Um, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, he's such a good writer. This is such a like tight. I mean, it's like I'm sure that at a certain level you can crank out a pilot in your sleep, right? Like cuz it is what's
I
fun
would
about
guess.
these is like it's formulaic. I mean, that's what makes it so hard.
Yes.
Also,
Yes, because of all the rules and
there's so many rules.
the
Yeah.
well, it's so interesting because like the show I'm working on now, it's for Peacock, and
Yeah.
as streaming is becoming a new thing, and different streaming platforms are deciding, are we going to do commercial breaks, are we not, how are the
Mhm,
commercial
mhm.
breaks going to be? So literally we're, you know, you're waiting to hear as we're working, because it's such a new network, whether or not there'll even be commercial breaks, which means
Right,
you have to change your scripts because you have to write towards those breaks. I mean, you
right.
kind of should be anyways. Like you kind of want to have those moments anyways in your script at a certain time. But it is weird how like since all that's changing, everything's kind of
Yeah.
changed. Like you're literally having to decide,
I
am I gonna write are we gonna write this in a way that people are gonna binge right through it? Or do you want to drop it
yeah.
week to week? It's like it's so weird.
Yeah, I just had an idea to watch an older I was like, "Let's go to" come with me.
You know I
Let's
will.
do you I am interested in doing, like, a Twilight Zone
I
just
used to
because
love Twilight
oh,
Zone.
yes, Thanksgiving just happened, and it was all the marathons and stuff I didn't catch, but, I just feel like it would be interesting to see because we're talking about the formula and, like, writing to act breaks,
Yes.
like, let's go back to the to the
Classic.
start and see, and just,
Oh,
like, see how what we're talking about here, like,
I
in its
love that.
purest
I mean,
form.
I feel like it's very I'm a little surprised that X-Files didn't spark the Twilight Zone suggestion.
Oh, I know, right?
Because to me, they're so I loved both of those growing up, and I feel like it really informed my like my darker
Yeah.
sensibilities. Like I love the weird twist. I will never forget the one where the lady had the pig face.
Oh, yeah, me neither, I'll never forget that one. I'll never forget that
So
one
so
because it
good.
was so mind-blowing, like, it's like, "Oh, what are your cultural standards of beauty?" Like, in this
Yes.
really amazing way,
Yeah,
yeah,
we're like
that probably every ethnic girl was like, "Wait a minute, what?"
you mean
Like
I could have a big nose?
yeah, yeah, or like, "Wait a minute, she's not the most beautiful thing on the planet? What the" Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think, like, just I haven't looked this up, and this was just, like, so random, but, like, is the first one the Shatner one? The airplane guy?
I
I don't
can't
know.
remember
Well, we'll
which is
look
the
it up.
first episode. That's a really good guys, my keyboard's a little
Anyway.
far away, but, like, I'm gonna look it up. The Twilight Zone first episode. Where is Everybody is the first episode
Oh,
of The Twilight Zone.
that's not
It
it
has
then.
Earl Holliman. I don't recognize the name, but his face, I feel like I've seen him in things.
Let me see.
Uh, that's so funny. There's a sixth dimension beyond that, which is no other man.
Oh, I
I love
don't
it.
oh, yes. Yeah, let's watch this. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we have to. I'm super, super into it. I will pop back to Barry in my
Yeah,
head
please.
for a
We have
moment
to I want to.
because the
I want to.
all of the little basic
Act
basic actress lady notwithstanding, there
the
are
cast
also
is great.
the cast is great because here's the other thing. Guys, this is my community. Like
Yeah, this is all
Kirby
UCB.
Howell Baptiste, Darcy Carden, these are all people who I would go see
Yeah.
performing in a tiny little stage, like those days of running around just doing shows all the time, and then you
Mhm.
see people that you know on television getting
Right.
jobs. It was so fun and exciting, and now I'm just like it's a little sad. I'm like it's not quite back yet, like
I know.
it's like I was watching this as like a time capsule because I don't know that
Yeah.
it's going to be like this, like in that the way it was they did such an accurate job, I feel, of portraying the energy of like
I
someone
yes.
having just moved here from the Midwest being like you just have to
Yes.
keep going and you're gonna make it and this, like at
Yes.
one point they were like, let's all get together. I'll put the details on the Facebook page, our
Oh
Facebook
my
page. And I was
god.
like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh. I was like turning to my fiance and saying, just so you know, like that is
We
a
have a
very official thing that happens
Yeah.
in every single acting class or improv class.
Oh, yeah.
You form a group, you attempt to
Ye
form a group, and you do a Facebook page.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 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 and we have one, our group that we our CBS group.
Our CBS
We
group,
still,
occasionally we drop videos and stuff in there.
yeah, I feel like we should just be like, we just watched Barry and thought of y'all.
We did. We
um,
will. Residuals. Shout out to
because
CBS Diversity Showcase Alumnus 2017. Alumnus, just the one, just me.
so yeah, yeah, that was real. And Residuals was our spot because it's like right by the CBS, the
Right
lot
by
that
the
we were
CBS.
on.
Yeah. Also,
Which I
Henry
don't think CBS
Winkler.
doesn't.
Oh, go ahead.
Radford isn't a CBS place anymore, right? Or is it
Oh,
still? For some
I
reason, I
don't
feel
even
like
know. Everything
I don't
has
even know.
changed. I'll
Everything's
have to
changed.
Google it
Everything's
because
changed.
everything has changed. It's
Yeah.
insane. Henry Winkler's character's book. Him as the acting teacher
Oh
is
my
great.
God.
What I
So
think it
real.
was, what was it? Stand on the mark and know your lines. That's like his book on acting. And it's kind of perfect because that's sort of
Well,
true.
that's the whole thing. That's it. That's all you have to do. But
Stand on your
but
mark
it's
and know
a
your lines.
but it's a mind game because when you're standing on that mark, there's like 50 people watching you,
Yeah.
and they're all silent and
Scrutinizing.
pretending not to be there. So it's a mind game, you know what I mean? It's like if you don't do it in the first, then like we're never going to get there. Yeah, that book is hilarious. He's such a good character, and also that like teacher guru
Yes.
character. There's so many of them in LA because it's a bunch of lost souls who just
It
like
it is. And like the crazy thing is I was like, it is so cheesy when you're watching it and you see how people are acting. But like I remember being in
yeah.
an improv class and I'm a
Oh yeah.
character and in a haunted house and I'm
Yeah.
saying what I'm scared of and that's what I'm seeing. And my teacher goes, Lisa, what are you really scared of? And I said,
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
then I said, I'm going to die in a cubicle while my eggs dry up. And I was like,
Ooh.
oh, this is real. Oh, okay. I see what you guys do when you're being
Oh
vulnerable real
yeah.
actors because it is
Yeah, yeah.
because I think that's the other thing too is you get so much portrayed on TV that's like taking the piss out of people
Actors.
behind the scenes in entertainment and actors and stuff. And by the way, a lot of it's very fair,
Yeah,
but
totally. It's
there
La
is
La
this,
Land. It's
but for
ridiculous.
all of the people who've ever done any kind of performance or all the musical theater kids or anything, like there is a weird sense of magic in it,
Yeah.
in the moment of something that's
Yeah.
fleeting and like, that's the one thing I really loved was seeing Barry get caught up in the feeling. Cause the thing that I like about his character and why I think it's so hard for him to try to break away from this is he didn't
Yeah.
fall in love with it because he wants to be famous. He fell
Right.
in love with it the way that a lot of us did, which is in a little black box theater with a handful of people
Yes.
saying, you moved me. And I'm like,
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
cheesy and it's whatever, but like
Ooh,
it's real. It feels
it's
real.
so real.
And it
It's
kind of
so real. Well,
shows
it is
it's so
real.
cool.
Yeah.
And then also, it's interesting too, where as someone who is a transplant who came here, you are too. Like we're both
Yeah,
people
totally.
who are
Totally.
like, hey, we are hanging at residuals, just giving it our best to see how it is a cliche because there's truth in it. This idea of an assassin being so bored that
Yeah.
he would want to like everyone wants
Well,
to be an
It
actor.
it wakes him up inside in a way that like I think if you figure that out, like it just wakes him up inside and he was so dead inside. I
So,
mean,
well, the PTSD clearly
he was
from having
lost.
been a soldier, like you can tell that he
Right.
can't, like, you're a good hitman because you can't connect with people. But
Mhm.
if you want to be a good actor, you have to connect with people. And it's the
Oh,
exact
look at
opposite.
that. Yeah.
Look, that's why I
That's
like it
the thesis.
because
That's the
he
thesis.
he also weirdly can't help but connect with people because he's
Yeah.
telling his truth all the time and they
Right.
think he's acting because it's
Right.
so authentic and it's so funny. It's such a good commentary on what people on how authenticity, especially in Los Angeles, is such a commodity.
Yeah.
And also people's definition of authenticity is very funny to me.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. There yeah. I was just something that came up for me. I we still get the like New York Times Sunday paper.
Girl, you fancy.
And we like I know like it's like such a
Let a treat.
luxury to just like open it up and it's like all old news or whatever obviously by then, but
Old news.
yeah, it's like who cares? But I just love the style section, you know? Like I'm
Ugh.
a big fan of the style section and it's like the only part I read like front to back. But like they featured this like medium to the stars, you know, or whatever. Um
Walter
and
Mercado.
yeah, just like yeah,
Just
exactly.
kidding.
And
I
it
wish.
was just like really funny. Well, not funny, but she yeah, it was like it's like a profile on her or whatever, right? And she doesn't live here. She lives in actually closer to where my family lives in Oceanside. So she lives in like Escondido in like North County, San Diego. And she
Ooh.
comes to LA to like you know, to like Jennifer Aniston's a client of hers and
Ooh,
like
yes.
you know what I mean? Like all these people, A-listers, and she I guess she just released a book or something. I can't remember why they had a party for whatever. But she said about LA, she was like, I don't like being here because the energy is just a lot of like sad dreams.
Oh.
I know. It's like a
Uh,
collective. She said it's like a collective sad dream
you can smell it.
feeling. Yeah, and I was like, "Oh my god." Like I never saw it that way, but I guess I see what she's saying. I always thought but I totally when she said that, when it said that in the piece, I was like, "Oh god." Cuz it did bring me back to like just moving here and just being like, "Oh my god." Like you have this dream and everyone has this dream and like it's sad.
It's horrifying because
It,
also you have this dream and you're basically your dream is to like be the captain of this boat, right?
yeah.
So the way that you get there is you hang on to the outside of the boat till everybody else on that ship dies from the storm. And pray to God that you live long enough to climb over the bodies and throw them off the side and go, I'm the
Oh
captain
my
now.
god.
And most of us it's very hard to just you don't even start off on the
Yes.
ship. You're a
Yes.
barnacle. And
It is
actually you're
yes.
not even a barnacle. You're a human holding on. At least barnacles know how to hold on.
The ship's made of your body, like
The sh-
basically.
you the ship is made of the dead people that came before you, whose
Oh
dreams
my
died.
god.
The ship is made
Right.
of dead dreams.
That is so sad. And so it's funny, like, yeah, I'm just finding her name is Carissa Schumacher. Anyway, the medium that I was reading about. And
Ooh.
yeah, but I always thought so what I think of though, I think that's when you first move here. But then you get here and like Barry, you find your community and you find your
You
people
do.
and you it's like this. It's like, okay, I always had this dream of like performing and creating things and like being on stage and like all that stuff. Then you get here and they're like, that dream is stupid. What you want is they upsell you on a dream. You know what I
Yes.
mean? They're like,
Yes.
what you want is your name on the frickin' marquee, and what you want is like, you know, like a whole show for you that you made, that you run, that you're in, starring blah blah blah. So like, fuck that dream. This is the dream you want, and so that's like
Yes.
what
This is
happens when
your
you first
dream
get.
on steroids.
Yeah,
And
that's what happens when you first
HGH.
get here. And you buy
Yes.
in because you're like, I don't know, anything's possible because like the kid next to you in writing class is Lena Dunham or whatever. You're just like, I don't know.
You're like, that
Like
seems like a normal trajectory. What
yeah.
she accomplished.
But then the people who were here like to to smooth out the way that Lisa was saying, it was just like, I think of it as like a war of attrition, right? You're just like,
Yeah.
you're here. Like, and the dream kind of recalibrates back to like, oh, I just want to make stuff. And in that sense, like, I think LA is the best because everybody here wants the energy. To me is creativity. Like, everyone,
Collaboration.
collaboration and creativity. Like, oh, you want to make a movie? I'm a I produce stuff, like, or I'm a writer. Like, if you like can shoot things, like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Like, and then you're
Yeah.
just immediately like, and it's not about whether or not that film goes to Sundance or like whatever. It's about like, we did it, we made it. It's the process. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like,
it's
it's like,
celebrating all of your time. What feels like tiny wins
yeah,
are really like making a short,
yeah,
making a web
yeah.
series. Yeah,
Being on a podcast,
yeah,
like
guys,
making your own podcast. Like, it's those are the wins. It's not about like, oh, and then like they're number one and on the iTunes chart and like blah blah blah, because that's not ultimately what we want as creators. Like, we
yeah.
just want to make stuff.
We just want to make stuff. The problem is they tell you that you have to be
A certain
rich.
level.
You have to be a
Yeah,
certain
yeah.
level before you can be creative. And one thing that I
Mhm.
sort of have been dealing with recently is the
Right.
idea that I have spent 20 years,
Yeah.
and the entire time, if you are pursuing like, okay, I want to be a TV writer. So
Right.
if you want to be a TV writer and you come to Los Angeles and you don't have like some magical uncle or aunt or
Yeah.
alumni situation,
Right.
then you're spending all of the time in job positions where you are told from day one, you should not want to be in this position for too long.
Forever.
So
Yeah, you want to move
basically,
up.
my mindset my entire career has been to be dissatisfied with every job that I've had because I'm supposed to want the next one. And
Which,
it's
like,
exhausting. I just
it's
had that realized
exhausting.
because I made a decision
It's exhausting.
on this job because, full disclosure, it's not the position that I had an intention to be. I am not interested in being a career script coordinator. However,
Right.
I made a conscious decision on this job because I had to, that I wanted to live in this moment,
Yes.
enjoy this position and situation for what it was. Because the truth is, I'm quote unquote supposed to be trying to push to get a script, trying to push for a
Yeah.
promotion, trying to push
Right,
for
right, right, right,
FaceTime and
right.
this and that. And I'm like, I don't want to do it right now. Like, I just want to kind of let things be. I sort of want to focus on the job in front of
Yeah.
me and do it
Yeah.
well. But that's the thing that's so hard is I've been a barnacle for a while. So now I'm like, oh, you know what? Maybe the piece is in being the best barnacle
Right.
in this moment.
But also, yeah, but also you're not a barnacle on my ship. You know what I mean? You're
Oh,
first mate,
thank
bro.
you. Thank
Like,
you.
you're on the poop deck or whatever. I don't know.
You're so cute.
We're-
I'm gonna do a real abrupt segue only because I looked over because I remembered I wanted to tell you this.
yeah.
I officially found
Yeah.
out that I need a pair of readers. That these are it is the lowest strength, but guys,
She's here. She's
is
here.
here. It happened. These
She's
are
here.
my Rachel Ray readers from Marshalls. They
Yeah.
came in a 2-pack. The other pairs at the office. Because you know what?
God bless Marshalls.
God, I just found out there's a Marshalls walking distance and a Home Goods from my office at work where I could
Ooh.
pop in at lunch. The candle situation and the hand soap situation is about to get crazy, especially with Christmas coming. You better believe my hands are going to smell like trees all of this month.
Funny you should mention, I also have a Siberian fir, pine, and cilantro candle right here.
Candle? Wait, what is, oh my gosh, I am
I
so
love a
dumb.
pine candle. I
When you
love a
said,
pine candle.
I love a pine candle, when you said Siberian fir, I read FUR and I'm like, that is an interesting choice. But my girl is elegant. So maybe I need to get on that burning fur
It's I think it's
train.
fur I think it's fur with the I
with
and the two
I.
umlauts.
Oh my gosh. I love that. Extra
I
scented.
It's funny, you and I both pick trees because we're not the cookie girls. You know what I
No,
mean? We're
ma'am.
not the gingerbread
I
cookie.
I love a
We're the trees.
musky
I
wooden
do
scent.
same. I'm
You know
trying
what?
1,000%.
We like it to smell like a lumberjack might just walk out of the kitchen.
And
That's
just
what
swoop me up in his arms.
I like it to smell like a man in a flannel could just
Yeah,
show up and start
same.
fixing my sink. By the way, here's what's happened. I've put on the glasses. You have the
Yes.
professional mic. We're officially a female podcast cliche, and I love it. I'm the white lady with glasses. You're the
I love it.
pro with the fancy mic.
I love it. This is great. You know what? We're making our dreams come true is what's up. You know?
Honestly, you know what? This is the thing about the show that really did. I have to say, it did hit me in all of the community places because
Yes.
I in the second episode, spoiler alert, someone dies. Because guess what? There's a hitman and
Yes.
his father comes to speak. And you know what? It is it's kind of it could be conceived of as a cheesy speech where he says, he said he came out here to pursue acting, to pursue his dreams, and
Right.
when he died, I'm just so happy he was surrounded by a community of people who embraced him. And I felt that. I was like, that's
Yeah.
how I felt. You come out here to pursue something that is basically like everyone tells you this is not going to happen. It's impossible. Like
Right. Yes.
I remember somebody once said, to get on a UCB house team, they did the math statistically, the amount of people who submitted to the amount of
Yeah.
people who get on and the spots that are available. Statistically, it's akin to becoming a Major League Baseball player. And I was like, that feels accurate.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So and then
You just tear your
that
ACL a handful of times less as a writer.
right. Oh my gosh. That is just it's so real. Like the community that gets built because of our sad dreams
Our
or
sad
whatever.
dreams. Well, that's the
Sad
thing
dream
is,
energy.
SDE.
Oof. Yeah, I know that bar. That's got sad dream energy. Yeah.
That's got
Oh my gosh.
that sentiment. It's funny because I just look at it as the thing too that's so weird is like
Yeah.
even since Barry aired, which was what 2-3 years ago, maybe
Yeah.
so much has changed.
So much has changed.
That's the
Well,
thing
there's
that's
been the
funny is like,
pandemic and
yeah, the pandemic and then the way that technology is
2018.
changing things. And so I also think that the way that we will be creative and
Mhm.
commune with people is also changing.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But
That is
Jesus
yeah. So
Christ, nothing beats that
but
stage, does it?
I'm not ready for that. Like I'm not ready for like shows about the pandemic, you know?
Oh, I don't want any shows about the pandemic. I
Well,
mean,
it's still happening, but
oh,
yes.
I'm speaking more of like in terms of the way the entertainment industry runs. Like, I just feel like there's
Oh
a lot of,
yes.
I feel like people are opting out. Like, look at this.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
when you see,
totally.
especially what you said about actors, like, as actors are like, listen, writers, the sad thing is you're also pretty powerless, but you're still somehow you have still somehow more agency than actors. Like, actors are just,
Yes. Well, because at
literally,
least
when
you
you
can
get
write
here,
by
people
yourself.
tell you, "Hi, are you an actor?" You should consider also being a writer. Even though that's a
Yeah.
totally different skill set and a totally different thing than what you want to do, you should learn how to do this other career that's incredibly hard to break into so that you can try to break into the one you really
So you
want.
don't jump off a bridge because
It's a lot of
yeah, because
sideways coming at things.
because at least you can write by yourself. You cannot act by yourself. That is for sure.
No.
Like
I mean,
nothing.
some
Yeah.
amazing people can pull it off, but we can't all be castaway.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. But I guess that's why TikTok is so great, right? Is because you can do it all. Like if you are an act, but that's still content. You're still being the writer. Like you're not just.
You're
executing. You know what I mean? You're
yeah,
creating the
exactly.
idea and then execute. So it's like you're still writing in in a sense. But so okay, fave moments. I thought of
Oh,
like, when he first goes in, his mark is like, will you go up there with me and like be his model? And that monologue is just, or that like scene, the
I
scene with the like, oh my
I
god,
first
it's
of
so
all, I
inappropriate,
forgot that that was a
hilarious,
real scene from a movie.
hilarious. Yeah,
The wig, the accent,
the
the
wig.
because also the thing I love is like having to step into a scene and earnestly be this person's scene partner.
Yes, like he gets thrown in it. He just
So
gets thrown in it.
insane. So insane.
It's
The
so funny.
one of my favorite moments was when they're like, yeah, and because it's when he's like rattling off to Fuchs like all the things. And he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I want to be an actor. And, da, da, da. And he goes, and like the scene is from a movie because apparently in LA, I
Oh
guess all the
yes.
scenes everyone ever does is from movies. And I was just cracking up. I
The
was like,
theater from movies. Yeah, I know that was such a shock because like now we're gonna go back on this tangent, but like
I
because
love it.
theater a golden rule of theater monologues is like it's not supposed to be from a movie or TV show. It's supposed to be from a play. Like 1,000%. So like if you walked into any theater anywhere outside of Los Angeles and gave a monologue, it better be from a play. And like because like their whole thing is like because TV and movies is written completely differently
A hundred
than
percent.
than
But the funny thing
than
is, you
theater.
get to LA and they're like, theater is literally just practice for TV or movies
Yeah.
because we don't really worry about that here. It's this.
We don't do theater here.
It's the
Yeah.
same thing. It's what you were saying. That dream. Try a different one.
Yeah.
The dream you're talking about actually means this dream. Just so you know,
Yeah,
we're
right,
gonna
right.
rerun
Try
you
on
to
theater.
try on
Yeah.
theater. Try on theater. By the
When
way, the truth is, they would all be told to take depending on the year, it would have been like, you also need to take an improv class because it'll look
yes.
good on your
Yeah.
resume.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Improv class you have to take. Oh my gosh. Well, it depends. Yeah, cuz right now I don't know. I guess they're pulling talent from like it's either because the pattern used to be it's either stand-ups are making it or
I think
improvers
different
are making it.
trends like
And
cycle
now it's
through.
like yeah, now it's like TikTokers I'm guessing or like I don't
Influencers
even
have
know honestly.
shows.
Yeah, influencers, yeah. Yeah.
The funny thing is,
But
I'm like, how backwards is that? Like, do you even want a show? You probably have more viewers on
yeah, I
your
know, right? Like
platform. Like,
why
this
would you
is
want a
cute.
show?
I guess
Yeah.
the money. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm feeling old
The
school.
the money, the bitches, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, any other favorite moments from Barry? I'm trying to
Oh,
think. There's some
one thing
like
I wanted to
old
ask you
residuals.
that
Yeah.
I think, as someone who grew up in Germany,
Hmm.
whenever I hear a bad German accent,
Yeah.
it pulls me out of it. I want to ask our friend Alex, who is Russian. I
Yeah.
want to know his opinion of these Russian accents because
Oh my god.
I I love, first of all, whether or
We should
not
have had
they're
Alex on here for
accurate,
this. We'll pick
right?
another one.
We'll pull him back.
Yeah.
We'll have him on a different. We
Yeah.
need to have guests.
We need
And
to
you
start
know what
doing
we'll
that.
do? Here's what we'll do. We'll ask him what pilot he wants to talk about, and then we go,
Oh
by the way,
boy.
though, we have some Barry questions as well.
Yes. That is
Because
a
I
good
love,
question.
is it the they're Chechnyan and
Yeah, I think they're
Russian,
Chechnyan.
they're
Yeah.
Chechnyan, and so, but the guy who plays NoHo Gary,
Oh my
he
god.
is a delight.
Yes.
From what I understand, he has alopecia, and he got it at a very young age. He lost his hair at a young age, and he used to wear
Got it.
like
No
things.
ho Hank.
That said, I think he just rocks it now because it's
Oh,
so distinct. He is so striking with those features and
yes.
his goofy and his little shorts,
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's see. He's in the Bill and Ted reboot. I'm looking it up. It's his name is
which I've seen.
Anthony Kerrigan. He's in the Bill and
Yes.
Ted reboot. He was on Gotham. See, yeah, he's got a whole career now ready to go. Yeah, Parenthood, The Forgotten. Yeah, great. Of course.
Well,
Yeah.
also, by the way, Oh, you guys, that is actually a great example where I'm over here raving about how his alopecia sets him apart. Meanwhile, I bet you up until this role or whatever you did this role, which was his breakout role, people were like, hey, you know that thing that makes you special? Conceal it because it's
Yeah.
distracting.
Change
And
it.
then as
Yeah.
soon as you are able to do it, they're like, oh, we meant to tell you all along that it was great. It's like literally you have to figure out when it makes sense to be authentic.
And
But it
which,
just
yeah.
goes to show you that like literally I can't imagine that he would have predicted that he would have
No.
a moment in his career where he would get to play a role where this thing that might have been considered a hindrance was
Right.
now the thing that makes him unique, distinct, and special. Like my nose.
Oh my good. You know what it feels like? The Twilight Zone. And
Girl, which we have entered.
yeah. So come back next week. Thanks for listening to us talk about not Barry.
You know what though?
I feel like we did halfies.
I didn't feel like we did happy. Also, it's like if you like Barry, this was like, hey, we just gave you some insight.
You're right. We gave you the real Barry
The
deal.
real
Yeah.
on Barry.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, join us next week. We'll be talking about the Twilight Zone. Oh wait, I remember I looked up because I just listened to our Veep episode, and I looked up Mayor Garcetti. Hold on,
Because he's now the ambassador to India, or he's been nominated. I don't know that it's been confirmed.
he took I think this was so I tried to like see it because we were like, why? And it was
What's the
because
connection?
he took a semester
I saw that.
of Urdu or whatever in college. That was the justification. Because I said to Will, I was like, wait, why? And then he was like, no, he has some connection. And so we looked it up and it was like, oh, because he took a semester of the language or whatever.
Can I tell
was
you,
like,
I took a semester of dinosaurs. I should not be running Jurassic Park. Actually, it would make sense that I would be the person running Jurassic Park, given how it turns out every time.
right. Oh my gosh. So anyway, yeah, I wanted to close that loop. So he has quote unquote some connection.
You know what?
It's thin at best, but I mean, I don't know. Pick an Indian person. Jeez. Anyway,
he had curry for Thanksgiving. Hey, maybe I should do it.
You know what? I have a favorite Indian restaurant. Pick me. Like, what is that? Anyway, again, join us next week on the Twilight Zone about the Twilight Zone. You can find us on all socials. We're Pilots 101 Podcast on Instagram. You can email us. I am at Chris Q, and you can find my girl at Timmons Lisa.
Thank you, Chris Q. Bye.
You're welcome, girl. Bye.